Hi, I'm Mick Garvey and welcome back to the RTI channel. Been very fortunate, as you can see. This is the RTI Mora. I've recently done an arsenal in Airgun World for this. I've done a proper real-time test, not just to get it out of the box, shoot a few pellets in the garden and tell you how good it is. That don't work for me. I have to get it out in the field. As you can see, still muddy. It's been out there. It's been out there shooting stuff, which is what these rifles are made for. The latest Airgun World should be out soon and you'll be able to read more about it. So I'm not going to go into really massive detail about it because quite a bit in the magazine. I'm going to tell you what I think you need to know. There's lots of things this will do. So much, I've not got time. It'll take me 2 hours to tell you everything it's capable of doing, but we'll keep it short, we'll keep it interesting, hopefully. Right, obviously RTI, Slovenian. Mora is actually, when it's translated into English, means nightmare. This is far from a nightmare. The gun is absolutely superb. Now my only problem is that I'm receiving this week an RTI P3, and because I'm doing that, there's no room for me to keep this, believe it or not, with all the storage. So this is going to go back, and then the guys at Highland Outdoors who've been good enough to lend me this, they'll get to use it and play with it again. Now, when I first got it, nobody knew anything about it. Nobody knew what the settings were, nobody knew how to set the settings, nobody knew what screw did what. Talked to a few people, watched a few videos. There are a couple of videos out there. There's not a lot on it, to be honest. There's a couple of things from the shows, EWA, British Shooting Show, and Gregor, he's done a few, and he's closely attached to the RTI factory, and he's done a great job of telling you about it. But there's some of the things like I say, it's from Slovenia, and it's known as the Nightmare. But like I say, it's far from a nightmare. Now this is 2.2, and this will shoot up to 90 foot-pound with the appropriate projectiles, which I'm going to say it'll be the slugs. And I would suggest that at some stage, I suggest to myself at some stage I get my head down and get talking with Liam at Wildman Slugs, and we'll get something specifically for the Mora, because at some stage, when I thin down the gun collection, I am going to buy one of these. I'm that impressed with it, I'm going to have one of these for myself. Probably 2.2, although the 9mm is quite tempting. That does about 220 foot-pound, 30 shots. How impressive is that? Accurate as you like. Anyway, get back to this thing. This is the first one in the UK, apparently. This is the one that you saw at the British Shooting Show. A week after the show finished, this was in the post and I had it ready for me. So I was flying by the seat of my pants, just winging it, trying to work out how to get the power. I'm not a gun tuner, but it's relatively easy. There's an external pressure gauge, pressure adjuster, which is there. Allen key fits in there. You turn that up and it'll adjust the power to the reg and the valve, which you can see on this gauge here. As you turn it, you can see that slowly increasing. When it turned up, all the screws were loose. Put some air in it and it came straight back out again, pissing out all over the place. So we had to find out whether the screws had been loosened off and not been tightened up again. People at the show have been playing with it. Things were all over the place. So it was that was a nightmare. we got it sorted. We got everything tightened up, we got it holding air, and it was working absolutely bang on. I got it set to 36-ish foot-pound, which seemed to be a sweet spot with the 18 grain air arms pellets. Pellet on pellet. We did a little bit of testing out in the field when I did the initial 0, 45 yards, 40 yards, 45 yards, can't remember now. And it was single holing, 7 shots, and the hole was small, my little finger. You'll see the picture, I'll put the picture up later. I was that impressed with it. I thought it was missing. I thought the first one I'd gone through, it was an old roofing slate. It had gone straight through it. I thought, well, surely it's not gone straight through the same hole, but it's had. Amazing accuracy and consistency. The spread on the power was probably half a foot-pound between a full mag. Now, you only got to bear in mind that this is a prototype. There will be some little needles to sort out, little things. I've lost air in it once, filled it back up again, it's fine. It was great. So why it lost air, I don't know. But the ideal thing about it is, if it does start losing air, all over the gun, there's little holes. And all these correspond to O-rings. So if you find yourself you've got a leak, a little bit of soapy liquid, try to over holes, and it'll identify exactly where the leak is when the air bubbles start coming out of one of these little telltale holes, let's call it. So that's another great innovation that's been brought in by RTI. I've spoken to the guys at a couple of shows, really nice guys to get on with, really know the stuff, really passionate about what they're doing. This has got a built-in picketing rail on top, and it's also fully adjustable between 20 and 150 MOA, so you can do all your straight from this. 2 screws, slacken them off, screw on the back here, tighten that in, lifts it up. Obviously when you want to take it down again, you'll have to press it down and tighten the screws back up again. Fully floating barrel. It has got, I keep turning this around, perhaps I should do it this way. As you can see here, the screws in the top, 3 screws hold the barrel in place. Take the screws out, you can see the indentation, so it goes back in the same place. There's going to be an option, which I don't think this one has got, of having a forward screw to have a secondary position of clamping down, so you get a more solid, a solid connection with the barrel to the action. But the way people like it, they like a fully floating barrel, and that's what they claim gets the most accuracy from. My experience with fully floating barrels is sometimes you can knock them, you can move them, just in case of being careful. I've got some that aren't a problem. I've had one that has been a problem. Not the problem with the RTI. Like I say, the adjustment on this for the reg pressure is there. It's all external. No need to degas it, no need to turn it down. You can turn it up, and you can watch the pressure increase on the rear gauge. The gauge here tells you how much air is in the tank and the front tank, which I'll come on to shortly. It's all external, and there's no need to degas it and take it apart, take the bottle off, or any of that sort of malarkey when you're turning the power down again. But it is recommended you take a couple of shots in between, each turn. Big Allen key in there, I thought it's 6 or 8 millimetre. Turn it down, half a turn, take a couple of shots. You can watch the gauge go back to where it should be. Like I said, there's 2 gauges, one for the bottle, one for the reg and the plenum and the valve. So 125cc plenum in this, which is nice amount to have in there. But it just shows you what sort of how serious these guys are with this setup they've made. Also, another little ingenuitive thing they've introduced is the pellet probe is adjustable for the distance it goes into the barrel. It's more for slugs. Obviously you can have it set right back so the slugs, it's got to be beyond the transfer port so the air gets behind it, and it's mainly for that. I've not adjusted it because it worked fine with the pellets, but apparently you undo a screw in the top, it's threaded, so you turn it and around you go. Set it to your desired position, turn it back up again. Gregor actually says he finds that just as important as a good crown on the end of the barrel. Interesting. So a couple of other things. Right, this is a 0.7 litre air bottle on the front, carbon fibre air bottle. You can also get a 600 bottle, I believe, and I think they make a 500, but they also make a 1.1 litre bottle, which obviously would not fit. It's a lot chunkier than this, would not fit on with that shroud. So this valve, the bottle attachment, actually loosens off, spin it, and it actually turns it to a different position, and the actual connection point goes further down, so you can actually get a bigger bottle in, so you haven't got that big daft gap. Obviously you put it back on again, put the smaller bottle on, and you turn it back round to where it was, so that you haven't got a huge gap in between the bottle and the silencer. One thing I did notice, it did not come with a dust cap for the fill probe, which is a Foster thing. Didn't even come with the Foster connections, but luckily everybody's got one laying about. I've got a few drums of TV coaxial cable, and on the end of that cable comes a little rubber stopper. There's another one. If you can see that, it's not really much to see, but it's just a rubber cap that fits on. That worked perfect, slips straight on. The shroud, carbon fibre. Now let's see if I can just position over here, and we'll see if we can take this off and show you the magic that is behind this. It's RTI's own barrel. I do believe they use some LW barrels as well. A slightly reflexed shroud affair. That's got the mini core inside that. It's felt wrapped around it. Got hairs in here, and this actually forms part of the first part of the shroud. Obviously, that it's vented backwards, any air back into that, and helps with the silencing. That screws straight back into there, in the end of that. Nice carbon fibre, nice look to it, nice dull, nothing shiny for the woods. And that's it. Now that, I've tested that today, and with the standard silencer, silenced shroud with no silencer on, 79.2 decibels. Highland Outdoors again were good enough to send me the aluminium shroud, which you may have seen at the British Shooting Show. That fits on there, as you can see, and it adds quite a bit of length to it. Now this is a 600 barrel, so that adds like another, what's that, 150 millimetre on top of that, so it's getting quite long now. If you're going to go for 9mm, which why wouldn't you, at 220 foot-pound, it's going to be 700 barrel, and that's going to be even longer. So you can imagine it's going to be, that's where the 600 ends. 700 is going to end probably up here. Then you've got that on top of that, so it's going to be quite a long thing, but ideal for bench shooting. It's already this, well, a different variation of this actually won a competition back in America sometime, a couple of years back, with the highest score ever scored on a 75-metre bench rest. It speaks for itself. Also they sent me a carbon fibre one. So the aluminium one actually came out right, the shroud, the standard shroud came in at 79.2. The aluminium one came in at 77.5 decibels. A couple of decibels quieter. Just shows you how well that's working on its own. I didn't have a problem. When I've been out in the woods hunting with this, I've not had the shroud with it. Carbon fibre. Now what happens with this is probably in tight, but this screws out. A couple of different threads. That threads into the end of there. And the thread, I think it's I'm not sure if they said it's a 20 by 1 that fits inside the silencer. But the carbon fibre silencer does look quite sweet when it's on there. Matching carbon fibre wrap looks quite nice, but again quite long. not a problem if you've been shooting. And to be honest, that one came out at 75.5 decibels. So we dropped down 4 decibels roughly from the standard, which doesn't sound a lot, but in the bigger scheme of things, 4 decibels is quite enough to cause you ear problems. So we went 79.2, 77.5 for the aluminium one, and 75.5 for the carbon fibre one. All very impressive. Plus these are all interchangeable, and you can use these on other air rifles. They are attachments for the 1/2 inch UNF. A quick word about the mag. See that? Look at the depth of that. That will take all kinds of slugs, because you usually find slugs maybe a bit longer. Some magazines won't take them. I've had a few myself that you're struggling to get a slug into. This is obviously a lot of thought going into it. Just everything about this gun, there's plenty of thought going into it. That is going to take a slug, no problem. That is 19 shot 2.2. Same old story. Tension it up, first pellet in, load it all round. Feeds itself round. Piece of cake. Right. More information. Adjustable cheek piece. It is a, let's call it a composite material, aka plastic. Adjustable, 2 screws here. Undo those, that'll slip up and down. I actually found that I needed to have it quite high up to take the scope. As you can see, this scope I've got on is a Hawke Vantage scope, and I'll go into that more in a moment. We couldn't have low mounts because it was going to foul the Picatinny rail when I wanted the desired eye relief for myself. So that's how that had to be. But the cheek piece works great, and it's relatively, it is quite solid. You think plastic might be a bit flopping around flimsy, but it's not. It's quite easy. So, keep on with the gun before I get into the bits and pieces. Increase the pressure gauge, the red gauge on the pressure. You watch where you're going to be. We've got this set about 100 bar in there, and in here you will see there is a screw, a thumb screw. That adjusts the valve timing, and it lets how much air is being let out per shot. It's just like a bit of a fine tuner. I found when I was using it, you can either screw it all the way in, and apparently that'll be good for lighter pellets, all the way out for heavier pellets. I've got it set about halfway, and it's working bang on. It was consistently around about 36 by about half foot-pound discrepancy on a full mag, which I was quite happy with. And like I say, this is a prototype. There's going to be small needles with it, so there's no point me going into all the intricacies of it, because things will change and things will get better. There's nothing wrong with it. It is. I can promise you that. But it is. I get a bit excited about it. Really, I'm a little bit upset because I'm sending it back. But it is a winner. It's been proven out in competitions. There's a safety on this. It's a true safety. It locks the hammer in position so it can't touch the sear. You can drop it and it will not go off, as some eye rifles can do and have done. And especially when you think about the power these guns are going to develop, then you want a safety that you can rely on and have no problems with. Trigger adjustment, spin him round again. The setting stage, the actual the actual pull on the setting stage and the crispness is all taken care of just there. The first stage is taken care of, oh, I can't see it in here. There's also some more adjustments on the front here, all to do with the trigger. The trigger is really nice as it is, and I don't know if you can see that, but you can see where the pole is that comes down, and it's a blade trigger, so the blade is actually adjustable left and right, up and down, to suit your finger position, desired position, or your finger size. That pole will also adjust almost back, so all you'll be able to see is the blade sticking out from that recess that you can't really see from there. There's no point in me trying to get the camera into there because you not see, but that, all you will see, you won't see the pole, you will just see the blade. Little storage compartment underneath. This comes out here. I'm not sure what you keep in there, to be honest. I don't think you put pellets in there, but there you go. But it's interesting. Probably keep your cigarettes in there if you smoke. Hammer adjustment is available, is accessible from the back, but to be honest, what they're saying is because it's a pressurized valve system, you do not need to adjust the hammer. It's a one-time adjustment. Once it's set and you're done. This rubber butt pad comes off, as you can see, and now I've got it off. I'm probably not going to get it back on again. But oh, there you go, and it's a nice grippy rubber. I think we've covered about everything on the gun, apart from the main difference between this and the P3 and the P2 is that the connection between the action of the bike and the barrel and the bottle and the trigger system was all connected via the barrel and the pipe work that sent the air all the way around from the bottle to the bike. This has now got a one-piece aluminium, I'm assuming it's all from one aluminium billet. It's all, as you can see, quite a work of art really, and that does make it to be solid. So that is one piece all the way across. So you've got the barrels attached to the action, the scope is attached to the picketing rail, which is attached to the action as well. So it's solid as a rock. You're going to get no movement, no issues with that. Few more things. Because this one came direct from the British Shooting Show, and they quite readily admitted they forgot to bring the picketing rails that fits on the front underneath and the rear underneath. That one I believe is going to be standard. This is one I've got, I had laying about. This one won't be, that'll be an additional extra, possibly. Be mindful, I got two different types, and apparently the work on the M-lock connections, M-lock screws, you just don't use the T-piece, they just use the screws and screw your picketing rail straight in. The two I got two different screw sizes, and it was if I remember right, it was a small one we had to use, so I had to rob screws from one picketing rail to fit on the small one at the front. And as you can see there, the picketing rail is on there and there. It's not actually on, I'm not using that, but that's where they fit, that's where that one fits. These are mine, start to be coming off, so whoever gets it next, buy your own. Going to my accessories I've got fitted on, I've got myself a maglock connector there for a single point sling. What I'll probably do is look at some way of getting 2 points of connection. I'll be honest with you, it's not a lightweight, it's not extremely heavy, it's not as heavy as my 243 and my 6.5, but it's an air gun and it is relatively heavy. It's not caused many problems, we're all big lads, grown man, I can carry that around all day if I need to, but you do know you're carrying a rifle with you. Like I said, I'm using the Hawke Vantage 4-16 30 SF. I could have gone for any scope. I thought the gun's going to be best part of a £2,000 gun, and the old train of thought used to be match the price of the gun to the price of the scope. I think that's out of window these days. You don't need to think like that. This scope, it's not a budget scope by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not a £1,000 scope. But this works perfectly well with this gun, and this gun is a high-end gun. You'll not go far wrong with the Vantage. The glass is lovely and clear, the reticle is nice and crisp, the turrets are nice clicky, which you'd expect, illuminated red, and it works just fine. It's just absolutely perfect. I actually requested that one myself for this particular job, and this is going to be my test scope for when I'm testing guns. Holding it in place is the Tier 1 Tier 1 mounts. These are high mounts, like I said, because they had to be up there. They actually sent me some QD mounts, which were too low, and I could not get the scope to fit right and get the eye really right and everything. So they sent me some more, I think they're tactical rings these, rather than QD ones, and they work just fine. And again, these you take them out of the box and they ooze quality. They feel nice. They just everything about it, the shaping, the machineries, everything's spot on as you expect from a good old British company, Tier 1. They've also sent me a tactical bipod, carbon fibre, lovely bit of kit. And if you need to pull them out quick, there's two ways of extending the legs. You can press the button in there and pull it out, or a sharp pull and that brings it out as well. Quality item, again 100% British made just down the road from me, and it is an absolutely superb piece of kit. Complements the rest of the gun really well, and to be honest, the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking I shouldn't be sending it back. But like I say, I've got a P3 coming this week, and I can't leave guns out of the cabinet. They need to be in the cabinet. One more thing. You may have seen on some of the videos, they've got like an underrail Picatinny extender. Some's got like a crank sort of thing that goes that like down and across. They also like a half pipe M-lock connector, which once you get onto the M-lock and start using their equipment, you can get absolutely everything for it. You can get separate legs with M-lock on, so you don't have to have all this malarkey. You can just have legs that fasten on and away you go. But you can have all sorts. You can have your torches, you can have your IRs on there, whatever. But that there's possible talk of that being included in the price, and maybe a silencer. Now don't quote me on that, but that's what I'm hearing. Like I say, if you want to know much more about this, I'm going to say check out Airgun World. And maybe not the next issue, the one after that, because we're a little bit behind on, or I'm a little bit behind on where the magazines actually come out. But you'll see we had some good days out with this on the squirrels, and a couple of surprise magpies at a decent range, a really decent range, which this really came into home when doing that. So the more I look at it, the more I think this is, as you know, I do love a tactical gun, and this is probably as tactical as it comes. One more thing, the lever on the front, as you can see, it covers the gauge. They're looking at possibly making that smaller so it doesn't cover the gauge, or maybe I'm not, take it back a little bit, but it's not something, you're not going to look at it while you're shooting a gun, but obviously if you want to look what's in the gauge, you've got to move that to see what's in it. Obviously you can take it back so far without cocking it. So it's now time for me to thank the people. I need to thank Ryan Charlton, Highland Outdoors, Rock at RTI Arms, for actually supplying the gun to Highland Outdoors, and for Highland Outdoors for supplying it to me. Also AJ and Craig at Tier 1 for the mounts and the bipod, and Jamie at Hawke Optics, again, who's one of the nicest guys you can ever hope to meet, for the Vantage scope. He always looks after me, and I like to think I look after them as well. So I'm sure, like I said, there's probably plenty I forgot to mention in this, but watch the video, tell me what you think. It's not about me, it's about the gun. This gun is pretty awesome. It's going to be ready around about summertime. It's going to be in the market on the shelves summertime, so it'll be interesting. And like I say, I'm having one. So thanks to everybody who supplied me the stuff. Please watch and subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the more people get interested, and more people get to lend us equipment to test out. Any comments, put them on there. Positive, negative, thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't care. I'll talk to you, I'll answer them. If you've got a problem, if you've got a problem with the gun, tell me. If you've got a problem with me, tell me. I've had that before. Can't please everybody, but there we go. Like I say, I'm not one of these that's going to sit here, fire a few shots in the garden until this gun's the best thing in the world. It may be the best thing in the world, but I've actually tried it out in the field. I've got it mucky, I've tried it, it's had blood on its hands, and that for me is the way to test it. So thanks for watching, appreciate it. Give me your comments, give me a thumbs down, give me a subscription if you feel you can do that, and we'll catch you on the next one. The next one may be the P3, or we may have got a brocock coming, which I'm going to test, and maybe the Epoch, which should be interesting. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching again, really appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot, bye.